Hello, Professor Bolton here, and I just wanted to take a few minutes and go over the basics of MLA format with you. All of the essays that you write in this class will need to be written in MLA format. So if you're not familiar with that, here are how you do the basics of sort of setting up your document for that. You can find additional information on parts of the essay, like the works cited page, elsewhere in citing today. I'm just going over the basics in this instructional video. So I have opened my Microsoft Word. This is version 2007. 2010 should look very similar. And I'm not sure about the new version 2013 yet, but it is probably fairly close as well. If you have a different word processing program, you won't be able to follow these steps exactly, but you will still know what it should look like when you're finished. Right? All the libraries, computers, and SSTC computers, the computers on campus, they all have Microsoft Word. So you could go there and kind of set up your document using this video and then finish typing it on your own word processor if you needed to. Okay? So let's get started. The very first thing that you need to do when you've opened a document, notice this is blank document, there's nothing here. All I have done is started the program. The very first thing you need to do is click right here on this button that says no spacing. Okay? Long story short, if you have it on this normal setting, what it will do is add an extra space between paragraphs. So even if you've double spaced your document or single spaced or whatever, anytime you start a new paragraph, there will be an extra space. It'll be a little bigger than normal double spacing. And you don't want that. That's not MLA format. So the very first thing you need to do is click this no spacing. While you can certainly wait until the end of the document, till you've typed it and you highlight it and then click no spacing, it will do away with any formatting that you have done. It will take away your font changes, your spacing changes, your margins, anything that you have set up on your document. If you wait until the end and click no spacing, you will have to do that all over again. So it's really important that you not only click on no spacing, but that you click on it first to make your life just a little bit easier. Okay, so click on no spacing here. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do is you can go ahead and check your margins. They should be fine. The default should be fine, but you can check them up here under page layout, okay, under margins. The standard for MLA format is 1-inch margins all around, which is what this should already be set to. If you have Office 2003, your left and right margins will be 1.25, but that is okay as well. Okay, so 1 to 1.25 inch margins all the way around. Okay, either of those is fine. And remember, the essays in here, I check the length by the word count, so it doesn't matter if you use bigger margins, you still have to have a certain number of words. So the standard are these 1-inch margins all the way around. So we'll click that, and those are already set that way. Okay, and go back here to the Home tab. All right, so my margins are set. I've got that. Another thing you're going to want to check for is your font justification, which is right here. And you want to make sure that you have selected the Align Text Left button. That should also be the default setting on your program, but sometimes I see a lot of essays written in this justified text. That is incorrect. All right, that is only for newspaper columns and other styles that way. You want to align text left. So check your margins, check your justification, and I am going to check my font. All right, now on my computer here, I have actually designated the default font to be Times New Roman 12 because that is sort of typical. But I believe the default, and kind of reset this here, the default that comes in Microsoft Word now is this Calibri size 11. According to MLA format, that is a perfectly acceptable font for you to use. MLA format only requires that the font be legible, easy to read, and use a specific type of font, but basically don't use, webdings, wingdings, or cursive script, anything like that, okay? Calibri is typically acceptable. However, I know that a lot of professors specifically require Times New Roman because that used to be the default font and the sort of accepted standard, and it's 12 point is usually the standard font there. So check with your professor, but if they do require a specific font type, make sure that you use that for your essays. For me, for this class, I don't mind if you use Times New Roman or Calibri. I follow the standard MLA format rules that just say as long as I can read it easily, okay, font type and size need to be easy to read, then you're fine, okay? Okay, so I've got my margins. They're all good. I checked my justification. We're left. I set up my font the way I want it. So now I'm going to go ahead and change this to be double-spaced because the entire document in any MLA format essay should be double-spaced. So I'm going to click here on paragraph, all right? And see down here under spacing where it says line spacing, all I'm going to do is select double and hit OK. And now I should be ready to begin typing my essay. Okay, so for the header or heading, for MLA format, okay, that's the first thing on your page, and it requires 4 specific items that need to be in it. So I'm going to go ahead and type that first. First of all, you need to type your first and last name. Okay, right here, notice that it's on the left-hand side of the page. All right, so type your first and last name, then you're going to hit enter. Okay, it's really important that each of these go on a separate line because that is the requirement of MLA format. Then you're going to type your professor's name. Okay, you're going to hit enter again, and then you're going to type your class. All right, English 101, 102, whatever. Okay, type your class there. If you want to put your section number, you can. Some professors may require that in theirs. They may like to have their essays organized that way. For me, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you put either 101 or 102, whatever class you're in, right here. Okay. You can also spell out the word English. I mean, this is pretty, you don't have to do the abbreviation E and G. You can spell it out if you want, as long as that information goes right there. Okay. Then finally, the last thing you're going to include here is going to be the due date of your essay assignment. Make sure that you put the due date, not the date that you begin typing it, okay? Make sure that you put the due date there, okay? So it's 27th of April, 2012, okay? That should be the format right there. Put the number of the date first, all right, 22, okay, then the month, and then the year. So don't do April 22nd, 2012. It should be day first, then the month, and then the year, because that's how MLA format requires it, okay? These items do need to be in this order, okay? Your name first, then professor's name, then course, then due date, and they all need to be on a separate line and double spaced, just like they are right here, all on the left-hand side of the page. So it should look just like this so far, okay? Then the next thing I'm going to do is add page numbers, because you will want to include page numbers. So I'm going to go up here to the Insert tab, and I'm going to go over here and select page number. Right? Now we are still using MLA format, so I'm going to select top of page, and then plain number 3, okay? Don't use anything else. You don't need the accent bars or anything, cool looking like that. MLA format should have plain number 3 because you want your numbers on the right-hand side of the page, like this. And so I'm going to go ahead and select that, okay? Now, you also, up here in the header, you need to type your last name and a space. Okay, so you'll have your last name up here, and then the page number. All right, and that page, the numbers will change on each page. So on page 2, you'll see your last name and then 2. Okay, you can close that. All right, and then if you need to edit your header at any point, you can double click on it, highlight it if you need to change the font. And I do want to mention that you need to be absolutely certain that the font of your page numbers, your header here, matches the font that you've used in the rest of the document, okay? If you decide to change your font in the document here, from the Calibri to Times New Roman, for example, the page numbers here will always revert to the default font at first. So if you've changed this to Times New Roman, this is still going to be Calibri unless you go in and physically change it yourself, which you can do, all right, just like we did the other font, okay? But make sure that they match, all right, because that's one thing that the program is not intuitive about. It won't change with you. You're going to have to change it. Anytime you change the font here, you're going to have to change it here as well, okay? So now I've got this set up. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to hit enter here, and I'm going to click the center justification button right up here. And this is where I'm going to add the title of my essay. Okay? It doesn't need to be in bold font or italicized or anything like that. Just capital letters for any words that are not articles or pronouns. Okay, so do use proper capitalization. Other than that, though, just regular font. Okay? Then I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to come back over to the left, and now I'm ready to begin typing the body of my essay, the actual essay itself. Okay, so I'm going to hit tab to start a new paragraph. Now make sure that you indent every new paragraph, so anytime you're ready to start a new paragraph, hit enter and then hit tab. Okay, but this is where, of course, I'm going to type my introduction paragraph first. Okay, and then I'm going to continue typing that. Hopefully your writing is much better than this. Make sure that you meet all the requirements of the paragraphs. So I'm going to add my introduction, got my thesis statement. Okay, all that is in here. Again, like I said, when you're ready to start a new paragraph, you're going to hit enter and tab so you can begin the next paragraph. Okay, I say that because it's really important that it's clear where your paragraphs end and begin, because obviously that's part of your organization of your essay, and you want to make sure that you have included that. Okay, so that's the basics of MLA format. All right, I have checked my, I've set it to no spacing. I checked my margins, my justification, set up my font. I double-spaced the document, added the page numbers and the heading with all the proper information, centered my title, and used the proper capitalization there, and now I'm ready to continue typing my essay. So from here, you just go ahead and continue typing, hit enter tab, start a new paragraph, and continue doing that until you're finished. That shows you what the basics of MLA format are. This is what your document should look like. Okay, obviously slight changes for the course, the date, any of that, but this is generally what it should look like format-wise on the first page. All right, subsequent pages will just be text, all right, just your paragraphs with the page numbers on them as well. So make sure that you do this for all of your essays in here, and if you have any questions, consult your textbook or the Purdue OWL. All right, you can Google that to find it, and there's also a link on D2L for you, but take a look there if you have any additional questions, and this should help get you started with MLA format. Thanks.